This is Ken Borelli, and I'm interviewing Connie Restuccia Rotolo. Her husband, Joe, and Connie are longtime members of the Italian American Heritage Foundation. We are capturing some of the memories surrounding the epoch during World War II and after World War II from some of our members who lived during this period. So I want to introduce Connie Restuccia. Okay, Connie will tell you where she was born.
I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, somewhere there.
And why did you, and then you ended up in Sicily during the war.
Right.
Why and how?
Because my family moved back to Italy.
And so you ended up what town? In Messina or where?
I was close to Messina. That was the big city. That's where we went to do our shopping and buy food and everything there.
What village did you live in?
Oh, mamma mia. Santa Margherita.
Okay. What do you remember of the war years?
I remember a lot. We used to have to hide all the time. We heard an airplane coming.
Messina was bombed?
Part of it was. I don't think they got, big parts, but they were after anybody they could get. I know we had to go hide. We had to leave our home, and we walked all over the place and stayed someplace. And yeah.
Did you have a basement, or did you go out into the country?
We went out in the country. We did have a bottom, a basement, but they were afraid because they thought if they would shoot something and we'd be stuck in that hole.
So it was better to be in the field.
Yeah. So we ended up walking all over the place and hiding here and there all the time.
Now, do you recall who was doing the bombing?
America.
The British, too.
Who was it?
I think it was the British and the Americans, yeah.
Yeah, it was Americans, too, because I could understand a little bit American.
Oh, you didn't speak very much English at the time. I guess not.
Nope.
Okay. So then when the Allies invaded Sicily, they also came to Messina, correct?
Oh, yes. Poor Messina got a good taken.
And what happened then? Was there a fighting?
I don't know. We left. We went and hid up in the mountains or somewhere. I don't know. We walked away.
Okay. Were you able, when you were able to come back, were you able to go back to your town or your home?
Yeah, we went back. But it took quite a while before we went back. Because my dad was worried about it, getting too close to anybody. We didn't know who in the heck it was.
So you were getting shot at by Germans, Italians,
anybody that wanted to shoot.
I think Connie made an interesting comment that she worked very hard to forget.
Oh, yes, I did.
I guess the misery.
Well, it was bad because every time you think about it, I would cry. Because I was worried about what's going to happen to my mother, my dad, me, So it wasn't at a happy time.
After the war, how was your parents able to come back to the United States?
Because I was born in the United States.
Okay. So then you were a U.S. citizen.
Yes.
So you came back when?
I was a young kid. I don't remember.
I think it was 1949.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah. So do you recall much of that first vote when Italy became a republic?
No, I don't remember that.
Okay.
Huh? Well, I don't remember because I don't know what.
You were roughly how old when all this happened?
I was a kid. Probably 9, 10. I don't know. I was a kid, I wasn't even in school or nothing.
Was your brother with you, Pat?
Yes, he was.
For our listeners, Pat Restuccia was a past president of the IAHF and one of the board members for many years. And Connie attended many events with her husband, Joe.
Right.
Anything else you remember of the war years?
I try not to remember because I was so scared. I was even afraid to go out of the house because I didn't know who was what.
Do you remember very much of the German occupation?
No, I don't remember much of that.
Do you recall what your parents were thinking or what they were trying to do during that time?
Trying to hide all over the place. My dad even dug a room under the house, and I was scared shitless every time I had to go there. You know, when he heard an airplane coming, we went under the house that he had dug up and made it like a little room. But I was scared because I thought if anything happens, we're going to be dead right in that darn hole. So that's what we were doing when we heard the airplanes coming. Then I remember one day I recognized the American, airplanes. So I went out there and I'm American. My poor dad had to come, get the hell out of here, get out of this way. Poor guy had to come and get me out of the street because I kept saying, I'm American. And he goes, they don't give a shit who you are. Get in there. Oh, poor guy, my poor dad, he went through hell.
Yeah.
Trying to keep me alive and everybody else.
Well, if you think about it, Messina was a big port.
Right, it was.
And so there were a lot of ships there.
That's why my dad was so worried.
Yeah, you were in a zone because I think
Messina was the big city.
Yeah.
That's where we lived, by Messina. Santa Margarita was a little town.
The other thing too is that the Allies invaded Sicily first, the first part of Italy that was invaded. And of course, depending on your politics, the first part of the country that was liberated. And we'll be talking about that with other members too.
Well, good. Maybe they don't remember more than I do.
Yeah, I think when you came back to the United States, how did you had to kind of recollect your life?
Because I don't know what was going on here. I didn't understand any American. I only spoke Italian when we came.
Point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I went to school, and I went going to day school and night school because I didn't know what to do, how to do this work. So I go to school during the day, then at night I go and they would help me do my homework because I don't know how to.
You had what? Pat? Was there any other brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I think I had with somebody else. Sister. Yeah, Mary, my sister Mary.
They all came back, or did any stay there?
No, everybody got back when they could get the hell out of here. That's what they used to say. What boat did you go from, Naples or from Palermo? Palermo.
Okay, because Naples was also very badly bombed, so it would have been hard to get a boat out of Naples.
Yeah. So we went the day before and waited outside someplace, I don't know where. Then we got on there.
Okay. Well, thank you, Connie.
Well, thank you. It was nice to talk about it. I'm trying to forget it all the time.
Yeah, I think that's another part of this interview. Whenever we're talking about the war years, many people, and it's very common, attempt to forget it.
Oh, yeah, you want to forget it.
You don't want to carry those burdens onto your children, your spouse.
Oh, yeah, I had never talked to the kids about it. The kids probably don't even know that I was there.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, but it's very, very common that they don't like to share this information with children because it's so traumatic.
Well, I don't want to scare the kids. When you hear an airplane coming and we are running like hell, and we never wanted to scare the kids.
Yeah.
So they would run with us, and then finally my dad he got tired of us running, So he dug a whole big room, like, and I was scared shitless to go there because I thought if anything happens, I'll never be able to get out of that hole.
How did your mother handle all this?
Well, poor thing, she was scared too, her and I, you know. But, you know, we were lucky.
Yeah, you were lucky.
Yeah, we were. We got away with it.
Yeah. And your whole family came back,
Right.
and you met the love of your life.
And then my brother, he joined the service.
Pat.
So he was gone fast.
But during the war, he joined the service,
I
or
think
after?
I think he did it before too.
Okay.
Because he was said, "I'm American. I'm not going to help them, you know, Italians."
Well, it kind of highlights the conflict for a lot of Italian Americans, because Italy was an enemy, and yet our heritage is Italian. And many of our family members, in fact, most, with the largest ethnic group to fight for America was the Italian Americans. So many of our members, IHF members, have family members who fought in World War II.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to conclude this. I want to thank Connie for being courageous and digging up those old memories.
I know it's kind of hard to think about them, but that's the way it was.
Okay, that sounds good. This is Ken again, and after we concluded our interview, Joe Ruotolo and Connie started talking about Pat Restuccia, one of our past presidents, and the story of how Connie got here is equally fascinating, and I'll let Joe talk about it a little bit.
Well, Pat was in Italy, or in Sicily, with Connie and the family, and Mary, his sister. The Italian army was trying to recruit Pat to join the Italian army. Pat, unfortunately for him, was already a U.S. citizen of the United States. So he didn't want to join. He wasn't going to shoot Italians in Sicily. He wanted to join the American army here in the United States. But they wouldn't let him fly out or get out of Sicily. So he had to hide out in the mountains for, I don't know how long, but it was quite some time. He would hide out in the mountains during the day and then go home at night to eat and stuff, and then go back and hide. And then eventually he was able to work his way down to the docks in Sicily, and he stowed away on a ship coming to America. When he got to America, he then joined the American Army, and lo and behold, he was sent back to Italy as an interpreter. So he finished his army, and after the war, he came back to the United States, and then he was able to get Connie and her mother back to the United States. Her dad stayed in Sicily, and I guess her mom and dad separated at that time, and she came back along with Connie. The trip home was another story, but Connie was about the only one on the ship that was not seasick. So she was back and forth to the galley, and all they had was eggs, hard-boiled eggs. So you can imagine the stench on the boat. But they did make it back to the United States thanks to Pat stowing away and coming back and joining the army here. So that's basically what happened.
That adds a bit of an explanation on how Connie and her family was able to leave Sicily. It was actually through Pat's involvement in being a soldier in the American Army after escaping, which I'm sure was a story in and of itself. But it really highlights some of the complications and tragic situations of the war years, and gives a little glimpse into both Connie and our past president, Pat Restuccia, and their Italian heritage. Anything else, Connie?
No, I think that takes good care of everything.
Okay. Anything else, Joe?
Thank you very much for letting us air the story. I think it's a great story.
It
and,
is. It really
I'm
is.
very proud to say that Connie and I have been married 64 years. And still going. We fight a little bit now. That's okay.
But not like World War II.
No.
We forgot that.
Yeah,
That
thanks.
was an interesting part of the story because that's how Connie got out, because her brother enlisted after being a stowaway. I don't know how he did that,